changes around us.
Look at the sun. It rises and sets every day. As days passes, there is a seasonal change. The trees shed their leaves, the hot days are gone, and it begins to snow. These changes take place on their own and make our world beautiful. Did you realize earlier that so many changes are taking place around you all the time? Can some of the changes be grouped together? Look around your locality. Record your observations as slow and fast changes by ticking the appropriate box. Classification of changes. Changes can be classified into the following 5 categories: slow and fast changes, reversible and irreversible changes, natural and man-made changes, periodic and non-periodic changes, physical and chemical changes. Slow and fast changes. Some changes occur very slowly. These slow changes may take hours, days, months, or years. Rusting of iron in moist air, growing of a plant from its seeding, ripening of fruits on plants, changing milk into curd are a few examples of a slow change. Fast changes, as shown in figure. Reversible and irreversible changes. If a change can be reversed, it is called a reversible change. Here, the products after change can be transformed to their original form. For example, ice changes into water on heating, whereas water changes into ice on cooling. Thus, this change is a reversible change. If a change cannot be reversed, it is called an irreversible change. Here, the products cannot be changed to their original form. Burning of coal, grinding maize grain into flour, falling of leaves from the tree, aging are few examples of irreversible change. Natural and man-made changes. The changes which are brought about by nature itself are called natural changes. These changes are beyond the control of man. Changes of season, tides in the sea, aging of plants, landslides are a few examples of natural changes. The changes which are brought about by man are called man-made changes. These changes are under the control of man. Burning of fuels, cutting nails, switching on an electric fan are some examples of man-made changes. Periodic and non-periodic changes. Periodic changes are events that repeat themselves after a certain amount of time. The Earth's rotation on its axis, the Earth's revolution around the Sun, and hence day and night or season are examples of periodic changes. Changes that do not occur again after a specific amount of time are called non-periodic changes. If there is an earthquake or volcanic eruption today, the next cannot be predicted. Such changes are called non-periodic changes. Prove that dissolving of sugar in water is a physical change. Dissolve some sugar crystals in water. The water becomes sweet in taste, which shows that the molecules of sugar are still present in water. Evaporate the sugar solution in a china dish over a Bunsen burner or a spirit lamp. A white residue is obtained in the china dish as shown in the figure. All the properties of this residue are identical to sugar, which was earlier dissolved in water. Thus we find that in this case no new substance is formed. Hence, dissolving of sugar in water is a physical change. Prove that heating of wax is also a physical change. Take some wax in a china dish and heat over a flame as shown in figure. You will notice that on heating, wax changes its state from solid to liquid. Now, remove the china dish from the flame and allow it to cool. What do you see? Is there any change in the wax? It has again changed its state from liquid to solid, but there is no observable change in the properties. Hence, we can conclude that heating of wax is a physical change because no new substance is found. Reaction involved during a physical change are shown below. No new substance is formed. The change is temporary. The change can be reversed on withdrawing the agent which causes change. The composition of the matter remains unaltered. There may be some changes in physical properties such as state, color, smell, etc. Dissolution, precipitation, evaporation, condensation, freezing, melting, and sublimation are some of the other examples of the means of physical changes. Chemical changes. Burning of paper is a chemical change. Take one paper sheet and burn it over a flame. You will notice that it burns rapidly, leaving behind a black-colored ash. Is the property of ash similar to paper? Can you obtain paper in its original form from this ash? Certainly, your answer will be in the negative. What does this confirm? This activity proves that burning of paper is chemical change. Opening of bud is a chemical change. Observe a few buds on a plant in your surrounding for a few days. Buds may give rise to flower. Once the flower is formed from the bud, it is not possible to reverse the process. It is concluded that opening of bud is a chemical change. Results of a chemical change are as follows. Entirely a new substance is formed. The change is permanent. The change is irreversible. Change in the composition and properties of the substances take place. Heat or light may be given out or absorbed. Rusting, burning of fuel, curdling of milk, cooking of food, and fermentation are other examples of chemical changes. Difference between physical and chemical changes are tabulated as shown. Changes involve interaction. Almost all changes around us involve two or more materials which interact with each other during the change. Burning of a matchstick by striking on the sides of a matchbox. The matchstick burns as well as a mark is left on the matchbox. Therefore, the change or interaction has influenced each other. Absorption or evolution of energy during a change. Burning of coal, wood, candle, gas, etc. gives out heat and light. Water changes into its vapor when it is heated. Water, when cooled, can be changed into ice. In all these changes, some heat is either absorbed or evolved. There are some changes during which heat is released. Such changes are called exothermic changes. There are some other changes during which heat is absorbed. Melting of ice, dissolution of common salt in water, etc. are a few examples in which heat is absorbed. Such changes are called endothermic changes. Exothermic and endothermic reactions. Take some glucose and place it on your tongue. How do you feel? Your tongue feels cold. Because glucose takes in heat from your tongue in order to dissolve in the saliva. This is an example of an endothermic reaction since heat is absorbed. Let us do an activity under adult supervision. Place some quicklime in a metallic vessel and add water to it. You will hear a hissing sound and water starts boiling. Carefully touch the vessel, but be careful not to touch the lime. You can see that heat is evolved. This is an exothermic reaction. Heat is either given out or absorbed in many chemical changes. A reaction is said to be exothermic when the reaction liberates heat, and the reaction is endothermic when heat is absorbed.